Hi, and welcome to ECCB Connects. 15 police officers and the ECCB country managers are now better equipped to detect counterfeit EC notes, having completed the Delarue Forensic Expert Witness course. Delarue is the authorized printer of EC banknotes. The workshop, which was held at the ECCB headquarters from 4th to 6th November, was designed to enable the participants to act as competent experts in the authentication of genuine EC dollar banknotes and the identification of counterfeit banknotes. Also, the officers are now qualified to serve as expert prosecution witnesses in cases of counterfeit EC notes. Speaking at the opening of the workshop, Governor of the ECCB, Timothy N.J. Antwine, encouraged participants to see themselves as part of the ECCB system of defense for risk management and the protection of the EC currency.
So in our central bank, we have 4 lines of defense where risk management is concerned. The first line is the frontline staff who work day in and day out, and they have to make sure they get it right at that level. The second line of defense will be our compliance or risk and compliance function, which is separate from the front line or the operations. Our third line is our independent assurance, which is done by our internal audit department. And then we still have a fourth line, which is our external audit, where we get external independent assurance about what we do. Internal controls to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So at this central bank, as we speak, we have 4 lines of defense in terms of how we conduct the business of the bank. The first line of defense, I would argue, so this is my framework, but I would argue would be the work we do in minting our currency, working with our partner, long-standing partner, Delarue. That is to say, we want to ensure that we have high advanced security features in our notes to ensure that we make it as difficult as possible for would-be counterfeiters. And our move to polymer is in fact exactly for that reason, to allow us to be able to take on advanced security features and to try to stay a step ahead. Well, you police folks will say, well, you can't stay a step ahead of the criminals. You have to try to stay not more than 1 step behind. The point is we have to continue to innovate and make it difficult. Crime must not pay. So the first line is really the minting of the currency, how we design the currency to make sure that it is secure and that we maximize the security features and minimize the risk of counterfeiting. The second line of defense is one that perhaps you don't think about every day, but we do every single day. And that is the backing of our EC dollar. Our notes are worthless if we do not have the foreign reserves to back them. Our notes will be worthless if we have no, and if you just think about other currencies in other parts of the region, which I don't need to name, you would know, and I know you appreciate the fact that the EC dollar is a very strong currency. And why is that so? It is strong because we have for many years continued to back it with foreign reserves. As we speak, we're backing our currency 99% in foreign reserves, which simply means for every 1 EC dollar in circulation, we have 99 cents in foreign reserves. That gives us strength. If we weren't well backed, who would want the EC dollar? If it's worthless, who would want it? But the irony is because it is a strong currency, it is attractive to criminals because they know that it is a strong currency and they know that we have free convertibility between EC dollars and US dollars. So if you have EC dollars is good as you have 2.7 EC is as good as 1 US dollar. So our second line of defense is actually what we do in our reserves management department every single day, which is to ensure the backing of our currency. Minting, first line. Second line, reserves management. The third line is really the citizens. Those of us who use the currency every day, recognizing some of the key features of the currency and knowing if and when we get a fake note. So that in the night, in a business transaction, or in a restaurant or bar or by a barbecue grill, we don't end up getting the wrong note or fake note. So the citizens of the region also have to have some awareness of this issue. What exactly it is that you should be looking for. So for example, in the polymers, you will see we now have the hologram, which is the strip, which is to give us additional security to make it very hard to counterfeit. If you do that, you get a black or gray line. You can't counterfeit that. People will still try. That's the nature of criminals. So that's the third line. And so whether you're a bank teller or you're a customer, being able to recognize the features, and we all use our EC dollar. We all engage with it. We all use it on a day-to-day basis. That's our third line of defense. And then there's the fourth line of defense. And that fourth line is you. You in law enforcement, police force, FIU. Because if and when one gets through, and while our currency is hard to counterfeit, there will be the occasion when one slips through. And when that happens, we must ensure that we investigate and, as far as possible, prosecute criminals for trying to counterfeit or counterfeiting the EC dollar. Crime must not pay. There must be a deterrent, and people must know if you try to do that, you have a good chance of getting caught. And when you get caught, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It is that deterrent that must make people know that this is not something you want to do readily. Without your role, the fourth line of defense, people would want to counterfeit this thing and know that they could get away with it. Crime would pay, and crime must not pay. So think about your role as the fourth line of defense in the protectorate of our currency. Remember what we have to do at ECCB with De La Rue, what we do internally, what the customers, the citizens must do, but then what you must do. It is that ecosystem, that protectorate, that allows us to keep our EC dollar strong. So put that in context today. This is more than a course. This is more than a few features and a note. This is part of protecting our patrimony, which is what the EC dollar is for us in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. For 43 years, we have done our very best, all our predecessors and those of us who are here now working, to protect our EC dollar. For 43 years, it has withstood the test of times, hurricanes and all. We have a job to do to ensure that we continue to protect it.
Security features analyst at De La Rue, Duncan Reed, conducted the workshop. The areas covered were banknote manufacture, including the security features and the printing processes, counterfeiting processes, and the practical analysis of counterfeits. They also looked at local and global counterfeiting statistics and trends, how counterfeits are made, and case studies of counterfeit of polymer banknotes.
The objective was really to differentiate between genuine EC banknotes and counterfeit, right? Now, what we're hoping to achieve is to deter counterfeiting or to eliminate counterfeiting on a whole. Now, it makes it easier on the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank having to send somebody, from headquarters to the islands to give evidence to determine whether a note is counterfeit or not, right? So at least we have persons on the ground who can quickly and are able to actually do this on our behalf. So though they have been trained in detecting counterfeit, they have been trained in report writing, and they have been trained to give evidence in the court of law. The training was geared towards law enforcement officers, meaning those, police officers and staff in the financial intelligence units in the Eastern Caribbean. Our country managers in the Eastern Caribbean, they were also trained in this regard.
Over the years, the ECCB has been taking steps to enhance the security features of the EC notes. Acting Director in the Currency Management Department, Rosbert Humphrey, encourages the public to be vigilant and to take time to learn the security features of the notes.
It's important to know the features of the banknotes. One of the things that we try to emphasize is the look, the feel, and tilt in the banknotes. Look in the sense that they look different than ordinary banknotes, than paper banknotes. The color is, have been like much more brighter, it's much more dominant. The tilt, when you actually tilt the notes, especially up to light, you can see different color movements and shift in different features in the banknotes. And look, in general, it looks different. The feel of the note also, the back of the note has a rough kind of feel that is from the prints on the banknotes, while the front has a smooth surface. So that in itself can determine whether the note is genuine or not. Now, one of the things I must remind persons, what is dominant on the note is the tactile feature, the raised bumps that form shapes. Now, if a person tried to counterfeit one of our EC polymer banknotes, those bumps they can't be replicated, right? It would be very, very, very difficult, almost impossible. Now, if you have a banknote in your possession without those features, without those tactile features, I mean, it's a cause for concern, right? It's a suspect note. More than likely, it's a counterfeit note. Now, this is the Christmas season. The Christmas season is fast approaching, and it's around these times with heightened activity that you might find, the proliferation of counterfeit notes circulating. So I just want to remind persons to be vigilant, to be on the lookout. You never know what persons can do. Our EC polymer banknotes, they are very difficult to counterfeit, almost impossible. But persons who still try to copy the polymer on paper, please be on the lookout.
So you've heard how important it is to know the security features of EC polymer notes. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Feel, look, and a tilt. Feel. Polymer feels smoother than the material from which paper notes are made. Look. Look for the clear window at the front and back of each note. This window allows you to see through the notes. If you hold the notes up to the light, you will see the value of the note in an area of plain colored print. Tilt. A holographic foil is on the $100, $50, and $20. The images move and their colors change when you tilt the notes.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects anytime, any place at your convenience, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at ECCB Connects.
And now for this week's financial tip.
Develop a spending plan so that you can know where your money goes. Spend your money wisely to achieve your financial goals.
That's it for this week's episode of ECCB Connects. Remember to feel, look, and tilt to determine if your EC polymer note is genuine. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.